Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. So, what is next for Star Citizen's Persistent Universe? As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members, in particular to my latest patrons, Dr. Clockworks, Leo, Dennis, and King Taco. Thank you all so much for the support, it is truly appreciated. So as we all know, Alpha 3.23 released earlier this month, and this patch was one of the biggest we have seen. Now, not just in terms of content and features, but also, and in my opinion, more importantly, in terms of core tech. Alpha 3.23 brought many updates to existing systems that were in desperate need of improvement, plus some fundamental technical achievements required for increasing the client and server performance, but it also brought with it the next required step for getting server meshing released, which was the separation of the replication layer. However, for many players, Alpha 3.23 fell short of expectations upon release due to the decision to hold back some of the more exciting and impactful features, like persistent hangars and freight elevators, which for many were the main reason for their hype. Well, with Alpha 3.23.1 and Invictus now done with, Alpha 3.23.2 is next, and as we have already heard, this is the patch that will be essentially finishing off all of those features that were planned for the original 3.23 patch. And so far, this includes persistent hangars, item banks, and freight elevators, plus the huge array of cargo updates expanding the hauling profession to a whole new level. And talking of these features, a persistent personal hangar will mean that we will have one hangar that will be our own. We can decorate it how we please with new furniture options as well, as we have recently learned. And this will allow us to call up any of our ships or our ground vehicles using the newly adapted hangar floor, which will then lower down and raise up with these ground vehicles on, allowing you to then drive them off and park them to the side. You could also call up one of your ships, where you can have as much time as you need repairing it, swapping out components, loading it with cargo, or loading it up with all the ground vehicles as well, and then retracting the ship again if you would like to store it back into your inventory. Now, I do also wonder, with the extended time that it has taken to get the hangar feature out, whether the ability to call up vehicles from the freight elevators will now be possible on its initial release, or whether it will still need a little bit more time. Hopefully it will be possible now, but we will see when the time comes. Now, for freight elevators, these are going to be very impactful for almost every aspect of Star Citizen's Persistent Universe, as they will be found practically everywhere. Our hangars, of course, allowing us to access any part of our inventory, be that weapons, armor, equipment, and cargo, meaning we will be able to store and retrieve our cargo whenever we want it. And this will be particularly useful for stockpiling cargo to either wait for a price increase or until you have enough maybe to fill up your hauling ship. And then once these new mining missions come along, gathering various types of commodities or mining those commodities and then holding on to them until an outpost puts out a mission for those required commodities, at which point you will then be able to load it up and ship it off, getting a jump start on that request whenever it's available. Although the mining missions may not be coming in with 3.23.2, that hasn't been confirmed, so I'm not expecting it. Now, freight elevators will also be found at places like distribution centers and even just outposts, albeit on a much smaller scale for the outposts, as the scale of cargo movements in these locations will be much smaller as well. But all the same, allowing players to physically load and unload goods as they come and go. And then we have the massive updates to cargo and this profession coming in 3.23.2, along with all of the new missions and hopefully reputation updates as well. Now, this will hugely elevate the cargo and hauling profession more to where Cloud Imperium want it to be, as a proper career path for players to get stuck into and progress through. That is probably one of the most exciting features for this patch that I'm looking forwards to. Now, the other feature that was pushed from 3.23 to a point patch was called item banks, which are basically kiosks found dotted around landing zones, and they are used by players to retrieve many of their smaller inventory items like weapons, armor, and equipment. Just easy access banks that you can store things in or equip things from as and when you need them. Now, it was mentioned just the other day that the unique item recovery feature, which is how we will retrieve items that we may have lost in the field, and these items will be the account-bound items that are part of, say, the subscriber program, for example, might not make it in for 3.23.2 either. However, it is still in the works, and can be expected soon. Now, in terms of when is Alpha 3.23.2 coming to us, Cloud Imperium's plan now is to release this patch to the PTU for the Evocati initially on Thursday the 30th of May, so tomorrow at the time of recording this video. Plus, they have stated that they would like to progress it through the testing waves of 1 to 5 as quickly as possible. So if all goes well, it is very likely that we will see Alpha 3.23.2 release to the live servers sometime around mid to late June, which would be great, as these updates are really going to change the way that the verse plays for all of us, and is going to provide a lot of new things to do in the verse while we wait for Alpha 4.0. Now, the 3.2.3 branch is intended to be the final build in the 3-point cycle, with 4.0 being targeted for quarter 3. However, that may mean that there will be more 3.23 point patches to come, be that 0.3, 0.4, or so on, as bug fixing and optimization is of great importance to Cloud Imperium right now. And as much as 3.23.1 can be somewhat difficult at times, very difficult in fact, it is certainly making great headway, and I am so excited to see what the persistent universe will look like at the end of this year in comparison to where it started at the beginning of this year. But with that said, that is what is next for Star Citizen's persistent universe. Cloud Imperium are not taking their foot off the accelerator, and we are just storming ahead now, and it feels great to see so much progress being made. The persistent universe has now become the priority for Cloud Imperium now that Squadron has reached a very significant milestone, and hopefully they can continue to optimize and polish, and when all these new features for 3.23.2 come in, we will just have plenty more to be getting on with. Now, before we go, we have a Freelancer Miss and Mirai Pulse LTI game package to give away. This is courtesy of Cloud Imperium, so a big thank you to them for providing us with such a great giveaway. And all you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is firstly be a subscriber to me here on YouTube and tell me what you would do with these vehicles if you were to win. And I will pick a comment at random to be the winner and announce it in a video next week. Now, we also have many other giveaways lined up. Another one might be here on YouTube, but I will also be doing some giveaways over at twitch.tv/SuperMacBrother. The link is in the description below. You are all more than welcome to come and hang out with us over there. And if you are new to Star Citizen or returning after some time off, it is a great place to ask your questions about the game, the project, the PU, what is happening, where we're at. I am more than happy to answer any questions you may have. But with that said, if you enjoy my content, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. Also hit that thumbs up if you don't mind, does the channel a big favour, and tick that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when my videos go live. Now again, a big thank you to my patrons and channel members for making all these videos possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.